This is Conversations at the Well, a monthly podcast that invites you to listen to ideas and stories that will refresh and challenge. It doesn't matter what state you are in. When you come to the well, you will always leave inspired and renewed. Let's listen to today's conversation, hosted by Bishop Roy.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome once again to Conversations at the Well. I look forward to having these conversations with very significant persons in our church and in our wider society. I have the honor today to have a conversation with Steve Hepburn. Welcome, my brother Steve. How are you today?
Thank you, Bishop Notice. Thanks for having me. I am doing well. God is good, and I am happy to be alive in 2022. Happy New Year to you and your family. I would have extended it already, but God bless you, and I wish you all the best as
Thank
you
you.
continue to lead this notable denomination at a
Thank
time as
you.
this.
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate this. And you know, as I'm talking to you today, I'm quite aware of the many hats that you wear. You are a pastor and a policeman. Now tell us, working for serving in the New Testament Church of God and working for the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Which one came first? And could you walk us through your calling to each?
All right. Thank you. As it relates to my calling to, from I was a tender age, I knew I wanted to become a law enforcement officer, whether it be a member of the JDF or a member of the JCF. So what I did was that I went to the newspaper,
Uh-huh.
cut out a picture of a police officer and a picture of a soldier. I placed one over my dresser and one
Yes.
over my bed head. So I say every day or every morning I woke up, I would say, if that is not me, that is me. So therefore I worked towards that. So if it's not a police, it's a soldier. And
Yes.
so I went to school, though the challenges that existed then, I had that in mind. I kept my dream and my vision before me. And so I worked toward it. However, in 1998, whilst I was living with my grandmother in
Yes.
St. Anne, on the 20th of October, the date when I was born, I was assisting my grandmother to pick some coffee, the country thing.
Yes.
And I heard the voice saying, come home, come home. And I looked behind me and I didn't see anyone. So I said, Mama, you said something to me. And she said, no, son. And then I heard again, come home, come home. And I said, Mama, I think this is the call of God on my life. And then at that time, I was about 17 years old, thereabout. Right. And we went to church that Wednesday night. It was a Wednesday night, and it was an evangelistic service. And what happened was that the preacher preached, and then after the preacher finished preaching, the preacher sang two songs. The first song he sang was, "Have wandered far from home, now you're coming home." The next one, which is my favorite song, one
Yes.
of my favorite songs, uh, it says, the song, I wanted to go from where it started. This poor struggling seaman, you may rescue, you may save. And I walked up to the altar, and right there and then I submitted my life to Almighty God. And
Hallelujah.
ever since that time, I have been walking with Christ. It has not all been a perfect one. It has not always been a consistent one. I have had errors, I have had failures, I've had mishaps. But thanks be to God. When I slipped, I did not stay down because it wasn't I alone who was holding on to God. He held me. And so his grace and mercies would have kept me to this point. And then that was 1998. I
Yes.
left high school. 2000, I started to work with Western Union, Jamaica Limited for 1 year. And then I went and did the police test. And in less than a year, I was called. But at the time when I went and did the police test, I did the police test on Monday. And there was a recruitment for the JDF on Tuesday. So I went, some say, what is this, Lord?
That is a
So
double
and then
beckoning.
I started, right, when I started to go through the interviews, guess what, Bishop? The police called me to come in this Sunday. And the Sunday afternoon, when I was already in training, I got a call from the JDF. I should come in on the Monday. And from then, 2002, March 17, 2002, I was enrolled or enlisted in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. This year, March 17, makes it 20 years I am serving in the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
But let
I
me
don't
let me
share
let
that
me
so
pause.
often, Bishop.
Let me pause to congratulate you. That
Thank
is
you, sir.
not a short stint. And we know the landscape in Jamaica for those who serve with the JCF. It's very demanding, it's very challenging. And for you to survive, to thrive, and to triumph over these 20 years. I lift my hats to you and I thank God for you. I pause to invite everybody to celebrate a wonderful Christian police officer. Go ahead, Hepburn. You're telling
Thank
us
you,
your
sir.
story.
Thank you, Doc. Yes, sir. So 20 years. And over those 20 years, I served at the Mobile Reserve. I served in the Special Anti-Crime Task Force. I worked with in CMU for about a month. That was one of my experiences that, and everybody knows CMU, Crime
Yes,
Management Unit,
yes.
led by the most famous. I worked with Keith Trinity Gardner in the traffic enforcement for a couple of weeks. And then I was transferred to Manchester, Mandeville. And then from there, from 2015, I have been in Mandeville, in Manchester to present. And I think that's where I will close my chapter in the JCF in Manchester because it's home. It's home. And anything away from home, I don't think the government would want to take on that responsibility in taking care of
So,
my family
so
visit
tell
and
me,
expect.
Hepburn, having been serving for 20 years, what's most fulfilling about serving your nation and wearing the hat of the JCF?
The most fulfilling thing is that the time when I was selected as one of the community in the LASCO competition, Police Officer of the Year, and I made it to the divisional level. And
Yes.
I was awarded, and then I was selected by the Civic Committee of Mandeville as the top cop for Manchester. So I was twice top cop for the parish of Manchester. And then the most significant is where I am. I was appointed to where my heartbeat is at, community policing,
Yes.
because I like to work with the youngsters, the school, the youth clubs, the neighborhood watch. That is my kind of passion. And so one of my most fulfilling moments was when I, with the no Spalding's High, the no Alphonsus Davis High School, when I started the police youth club there in school, and I managed to get it going, and to the point where it was dubbed, where it is classified and has gone down in history as the first official launching of a police youth club in school. That is my brainchild. Bishop ACP Gary Welsh was head of the community safety and security. He came down at the time and we worked together, but that was in fact my brainchild. And so that is one of the most fulfilling moments when I happen to impact the lives of those children in school. And today I'm seeing a number of those students who are part of the police youth club at that time at Alphonsus Davis High School, serving in the JCF, being nurses, and they are actually seeing me at road on the streets and saying, "Sir, you remember me?" I said, "No." They said, you at high school." I said, "Like me, high school?" Looking at how they're built and how they are look. I said, "Yes, sir, you." I said, "But you're a big man." I said, "No, sir. You kept us, you held us, you taught us in high school in terms of and they actually said, "Sir, remember, you are the ones who had you are the one who had the whip. So once you drove out in Spaldings, every student had was to go into taxi Christian High. So every time person said, they said, that's the police officer that is called no linger. I had given my name myself the name No Linger, meaning that once I touch the town, no student should linger. So therefore, once I drove out, everybody would say, No Linger, come, No Linger, come. So,
Well, Pastor, I commend you for that, because it is said that Jamaica right now would do well with more police officers who have a genuine concern for community and for serving the community. I want you to make a quick
yes,
comment on that, the kind of needs that we have now with the violence and the social chaos that exists in many sections of Jamaica. What kind of policing is needed?
we need more of the community policing in terms of getting the youth engaged, right? Going into the community, have this one-on-one, forming more youth clubs, more neighborhood watch, right? There are still there are young people who have issues, who have genuine concerns, and sometimes it's not all the scamming and the illegal activities that they're engaged in, but the upbringing that they may have had, the issues that they may have to deal with, the father who they may have seen died at the hand of a gun at criminality, and then they can become revengeful and they are still hurting. So going in there and engaging the youth, engaging those who are less fortunate and vulnerable, I believe that touching base with them and engaging them, right, and let them see the other side of policing and realize that it is not all about this aggressive and militant approach. There's another side that we can use to get some form of compliance and prevention in terms of crime and criminality.
Well,
So I think
well said, and clearly spoken. But I know you're not just a police officer. You're also a pastor and a well-known evangelist. Now, I want you to tell us how challenged are you in balancing those two roles, the role of pastor evangelist and the role of police officer?
it is, this is what I read a book the other day, and it says it is easier in the individual's opinion to get credentials for pastoring than to for pastoring a church than actually doing the job.
Mm,
It is easier to get, so doing the job, the individual was saying, is far more difficult and challenging than actually getting the credentials. And we know the strains and the commitment that it requires in terms of getting the credentials and going through college, and
of
the
course.
time that has to be spent and the commitment. But the individual was saying it takes more work and challenge in getting the job, because when you look at how the membership would demand your presence at all events and at 7 days per week, and the administrations of the church, and then we went, some of us doesn't have that, some persons as leaders and possess that administrate, but yet we have to ensure that we are administratively functioning effectively. And there are other aspects of the church life, and it can be challenging and demanding. But one of the things is that if we apply ourselves and we know that we are called for the job and for the ministry, I believe that God will equip us. And that's what I have done. Avail myself so God can equip me for that purpose. Also, staying committed to both. That's one of the challenge, because I have to be committed to both without the functions or responsibilities of the two being compromised. So therefore, and the daily demands of in terms of the risk and involvement as it relates to the policing rather. So there's this daily risk, right? Going out there, you don't know what you're going to be encountering. You don't know what are the challenges, what are the dangers. So therefore, it can be challenging, but because I have made up in my mind and I believe that this was what I wanted and I know this was what I wanted, I always say, not even the prime minister then and now, nor the minister can use a bulldozer or a forklift to take me out of the JCF, because I believe that I was called for this and this is my passion. So I'm not going to do anything for them to force me out of this. So therefore, despite the challenges, I will rise to the challenge in ministry and I will rise to the challenges in my secular job by doing it the best way I know how and staying in compliance with the rules and regulations and the policies that govern these varied institutions.
Wonderful, wonderful, my brother. I'm talking with Steve Hepburn, pastor and a distinguished police officer who continues to serve his church and his nation. And you have articulated so well, how you manage to carry the two roles. But your family, Steve, how do you fit family with all the commitments of church and the police force? Where does your family fit? Tell us about your family.
Well, I have a lovely family, a nice wife and children
Yes.
that I remember one of my appreciation service, one of the managers of Guardsman visited, and I was so touched and moved by it when he got up to speak on behalf of the community of Alien Town. And he says he doesn't know how Hepburn, the bishop, does it, but he, if I am at church 100%, I am at, if he calls home, I am there at all times. And if he calls at the station, I am there. So therefore he says I give, he didn't know that he could find 300% in a person because 100% work, 100% family, 100% church. And that was what I was really feeling, that I sensed that there was a sense of balance. I realized that somebody observed that I was trying to balance it. You know what is my priority, Bishop?
Yes.
God first, family second, church and any other affairs outside of the previous two that comes after. So once God is at the center in terms of my life and at the forefront, then comes my family. And after my family, then comes church and its responsibilities, because at the end of the day, church, the family was the first institution, then the church. We cannot do without God and the church, for the church to be effective and going and growing, and as a pastor to serve the congregation well, I have to have a stable family life. So I ensure that I give that sense of commitment to my family. I was talking to a member the other day, and they were saying, Bishop, what are you doing? Saying, my wife had gone to the nail shop. I took her to Mandeville. They said, where are you? I say, I'm at home. They said, what are you doing? I say, I'm actually at the clothesline. I'm taking up the clothes. She washed. She hung them out. I said, what are you doing? So you can take up. I said, I'm actually folding the white t-shirts. I'm folding this and I'm doing that. And before she knows, she said, what else are you doing? I said, I'm packing them in the different drawers. She said, you're sure, man, chaos and problem. I said, I have been doing this all the time. He said, what will you be doing next? I said, it's like I'm on an interview. He said, I'm going to be heading to the kitchen to ensure that the children get something to eat until the missus is back. And if she's back and can't, she haven't eaten anything, I will prepare it if she's tired. So that, because I know I have an obligation. So therefore, because my grandmother grew me well, so I know how that I have to take care of my family, and that was being demonstrated, and I saw that being carried through in the early stage of my life. The commitment to family, and I recognize how important my wife is and the children. And in terms of my ministry, once the family life is stable, going good, and there's happiness, I don't have a problem. I can preach, I can enjoy church, I can go out and do ministry and all of that. But if problems are at home, I'm going to be having problems in even preparing the sermon or ministering to somebody else who have problems. So I ensure that first of all, my family is taken care of in all aspects and way of life.
What a word to us. I mean, I'm hoping that my wife won't hear this interview, because next thing you know, she's going to insist that I start folding white shirts and doing all kinds of things. But very, very inspiring. I mean, what
Yes,
word
sir.
would you give to leaders, other leaders who have carry heavy loads, but somehow their families are being left behind? Just give a word to them.
Right, my word. Ensure that ensure things are in their proper perspective and learn to prioritize. As I said before, God first, family second, church, and any other affairs outside of the previous two, God and family, must come thereafter. Must seek to engage individuals, right? Avoid being burnt out. as a leader, avoid being burned out, know when to say no, know when to say yes. I had to tell a pastor the other day, it's not my denomination because they know me well. Outside of our denomination. At the point at which they called me that if I can preach, I said, no, I don't think so. Individuals say, why? I said, you're in your crusade or you're in your series of meetings and you're calling me, why for me to preach? I said, guess what you want? You want a substitute. And I am no substitute. I said, I'm not a substitute. If you wanted me from your time of planning and the thoughts came into your mind, I would have been one of the first persons. So therefore, somebody fall out or drop out on you. So therefore, you're seeking a substitute. Guess what? I am available in terms of but guess what? I have already dedicated my time to staying at home with my family and to watch a little movie. So therefore, therefore, sorry, but next time around, plan your thing properly and so forth. And I can't do that. So therefore, avoid being burnt out, know when to say yes, know when to say no.
Yes, yes.
I like to preach. I'm an evangelist at heart,
Yes,
and preaching is
yes,
my
we know
hobby.
that.
But guess what?
A passionate evangelist. Yes.
A passionate evangelist, but guess what? I am no substitute. And we had a good conversation. I said to the individual doctor, there's 52 Sundays in each, 52 weeks, 52 Sundays in a year. I can preach 52 Sundays. And if you multiply 6 by 52, I can preach 6 twos, 12, 6 fives, 6 fives, 30, and one. So I can, because I have 6 churches that I supervise, I can tell the pastor that I
Yes.
want to preach here. So therefore, I can preach almost 300 and odd times in 1 year. So therefore, preaching is not my problem. I just need to know that, guess what? I need to have a balanced life. I need to have equal rest as much as I do ministry and I do policing. I need to ensure that I exercise. I need to ensure that I get my mind focused. I am doing actually doing my studies at Bethel. I want to ensure that I give quality time to what I am doing, my course work. And in the same way, do not rob the time from the church. I give the church adequate time. Whilst they're quite understanding that I'm doing studies, they ensure that I do that and they are not robbed of their time. Also, live within their means. I want to tell every pastor and every leader, live within his or her means. Do not go outside. My grandmother would say, do not hang your basket where you can't catch it. Live within your means. I had to say to a young pastor, Bishop, and I have to take off my glasses. They asked me on Bishop Night, how much is it for all vehicles, about how much it is going for. And we paused and I stood, I said, let's not go there now. I have been through many a dangerous toils and snare to reach to driving an SUV. I have had nights when my wife was in the engine, open the bonnet of an old Mark II, She don't know what she was looking for, coming from crusades in deep Clarendon. And so we have gone through much to reach where you are. Take your time. You will reach one day. Do not go too fast, because if you start to look at a vehicle like what you are driving, if you don't have a secular job and you're going to depend on the church, you're going to stress the church and you're going to be going outside of your means. Also, I want to say to all leaders, be willing to mentor and mold new leaders. At the end of the day, Bishop, I want to know that when I sit down, I can look at somebody and say, I have impacted, I have invested in this person's life. I want to be like Paul. When I look around, I say, there goes my Philemon, there goes my Timothy, there goes my Barnabas. I want to look around and like a Moses and say, there goes my Aaron. I want to look around like Elijah and say, there goes my Elisha. So therefore, live a balanced life. Ensure that you balance your life. Don't go above your means. Stay within the means and ensure that we live balanced life as leaders.
You're clearly a legacy leader. a legacy leader, family man, police officer, tremendous pastor. You have blessed me so much in this conversation. The time has slipped by so quickly because I
Wow.
was I was so engrossed and engaged in what you were saying. But thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation with me. I am absolutely sure that many persons will be inspired and will be blessed because indeed today the waters flowed at the well. Thank you again, my brother Steve, um, police officer, pastor, family man, legacy builder. The Lord bless you. I appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you for having me at the well. And indeed, I did drink from the well, and the water is refreshing. And I hope that I'll be able to come back for the well to further energized and empowered by drinking from this lovely well. God bless you. Continue to do ministry, Doc. You have my support. You have my prayers. And I know it's challenging, but you will overcome. You will
Thank you.
overcome.
Thank you, my
God
brother.
bless you.